Hey guys, it's Jeff, and today is the day. Finally, Apple has in fact released iOS 12.4. Yes, it's been a very long process throughout the developer betas here. 7, in fact, betas for developers for iOS 12.4. There has been a lot of testing on new features and changes coming in this version of iOS. So I, for one, am super excited to see this official release of iOS 12.4. And of course, this might be the kind of like last version of iOS 12 that we might be seeing, barring any security updates that we might be seeing in the future. So iOS 12.4 is definitely very important, especially for users who don't have devices that support iOS 13. And I, for one, am very excited to see what Apple has included in this update. So in this video, let's talk about new features, changes, everything that we found in regards to speed and performance in iOS 12.4, and then kind of give our final opinion on if you guys should be updating or not. So let's go ahead and get started. Guys, go check out CleanMyMac X. It's absolutely amazing. I use it every day, and I cannot say this enough. Every Mac user needs this program. So go check it out. There's a link down below with more info, and you can also go download it to try it out for yourself. So your biggest question is, what are the new features in iOS 12.4? And honestly, there are quite a few here. The first is by far the most important. That is the support for the Apple Card, or Apple's credit card. Now, this is a fantastic update for Apple, where they are entering the financial sector of business by offering lines of credit not only to Apple customers, but everyone. But obviously here, if you are in fact an Apple user, you will benefit the most, as you will have the full UI experience of the Apple Card in the Wallet app, which will essentially give you the best ways to manage your line of credit and ensure that you have all the information you could possibly need for this new product from Apple. There will be a link in the video description down below where you can get more information about the Apple Card and of course apply for it as well. Now, another change also found within the Apple Wallet app is a very simple one. Apple just changed the Apple Pay Cash to Apple, the Apple logo, and then cash. So Apple logo and then cash. And the old version, I think, had Apple Pay Cash all in text. A very minor change here, but nonetheless, you will be seeing that for sure in iOS 12.4. In previous versions of iOS 12, we did see some of these changes come, but not everyone actually saw them. But for sure, you all will be seeing this in iOS 12.4. Now, next up is a very lackluster change to the iOS 12.4 software, but it is quite a big one. Apple did in fact update the modem firmware in iOS 12.4. We've been seeing several versions of this modem firmware updates within the iOS 12.4 betas, and in almost every beta, Apple did update the modem firmware to ensure that you were getting a better LTE experience and also a better overall cellular connection. Now, next up is the Maps app, and this is actually one of my favorite new features within iOS 12.4 because I think it's going to be really useful for a lot of you guys out there who do a little bit of traveling and definitely want to know all the information possible that you can within the Maps app. Now, a wonderful new feature in the Maps app is one that you can go to any mall within the Maps app and actually view the full list of stores that are located in that specific mall. Now, we all know how Apple has plans to integrate the AR experience into the Maps app, but they've made a huge step in that direction with this list, and as well a full layout as to where you can see these stores in the mall. So that's a really handy feature here for all of you who shop quite a bit, and it also makes it easier to find stores without having to go to those big pillars in the middle of the mall and search for kind of like a full list of stores that you're looking for. You can actually just go directly on your iPhone and find all of that information now within the Maps app in iOS 12.4. Now, let's go over some smaller changes that we found within iOS 12.4. And first up, we have new Emoji customization options. So if you go ahead and look at the new emoji customization options, you're just getting a few changes here and there, just a few more ways to customize your Memoji and use those in the iMessage app or anywhere where you want to use Memoji. Now, another change is the feedback app icon has been changed. We're getting a little bit more of a modern design to the app icon here. And I actually do really like this change. I would like more of the Apple icons to look like this, a more modern design. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Now, another change that we also saw is in the control center, the remote app for Apple TV has gotten a lot smoother. The experience is just a lot better, a lot more smooth performance between the Apple TV and this remote app on your iPhone, iPad, whatever you may have. I'm really liking the experience of it, and I think you will too in this iOS 12.4 update. Now, the last small and minor change that we saw was actually the addition of an old feature that was taken out of iOS 12.3.1 specifically for security purposes. If you own an Apple Watch, you obviously saw the Walkie Talkie feature disappear simply because there was a huge security risk with that feature. Basically, people could hear what you were saying through the Walkie Talkie app even though you were not activating it. So obviously, just like the old group FaceTime bug, that was a huge bug that Apple wanted to kind of quash and make sure that it wasn't there. So they disabled the Walkie Talkie feature, but now it's back in iOS 12.4, and you should be able to run that feature without any problems into the future. Now, next up, let's talk about speed and performance found within iOS 12.4. So in regards to speed and performance, we are seeing a huge jump in performance numbers in our benchmarks, starting off with Geekbench, where we saw a good 3 to 4% increase in performance between the single and multi-core scores. The single core scores proved to be well within the same performance numbers that we were seeing in iOS 12.3.1, but multi-core definitely got faster compared to iOS 12.3.1. Now, moving on to Geekbench GPU scores, and we saw an amazing jump in performance, seeing about a 6% increase, which in my opinion is obviously insane. Definitely in a good way, considering all of the performance increase is done purely via software, and that is really, really cool. Now, speaking of the performance increase between the CPU and GPU combined, we saw about an average of a 5% increase between those two numbers, which is obviously still really good when we're talking about just a software update. Moving on to other benchmarks like Antutu, we saw a good 4% increase across the board, and that still proves that we are seeing a decent update here, improving overall performance of iOS 12. Now, there's definitely some other things that we can test. We can test speed and performance with the CPU, GPU, obviously internet speed, but with that modem firmware update, a lot of people are asking, are we going to see much faster performance with LTE? And really, you are not. In past versions of iOS 12, we were definitely seeing faster performance with LTE speeds, but actually in this update, you are going to see more reliability in the connection that you have. So in my experience, I've been having a lot of issues with not really getting the best cell signal, even though I'm in really good areas for that signal. And it's really the iOS updates which have been hindering me in that respect. So now with this update, you should be seeing better connectivity, which will again lead to better scores in the LTE category when you're looking at speed and performance. Overall though, it's not improving your speeds, it's just improving your connection, which will lead to better speeds. So the last and possibly most important topic is battery life, and honestly, iOS 12.4 has greatly improved battery life over iOS 12.3.1. I'm seeing a much more efficient version of iOS 12, and we're seeing much better benchmark and actual use performance numbers after updating to iOS 12.4. So overall, I'm not going to say there's too much to talk about in regards to battery life and battery performance, but it's definitely better in iOS 12.4. And for any of you that were experiencing poor battery life on previous versions of iOS 12, this is definitely worthwhile, the update of just updating to iOS 12.4 just for that specific reason alone. So guys, that was iOS 12.4, all of the new features, changes, speed and performance numbers that we saw. I guess you're just asking, should I update? I always get this question in the comment section, should I update to the newest version of iOS? And at this point, I can't really see a reason not to. Apple has vigorously tested this version of iOS in 7 betas of iOS 12.4. So I'm sure all of the bugs are kind of taken care of. I haven't really seen any bugs since like iOS 12.4 beta 2. So we're definitely seeing a very solid version of iOS 12 here. And just given the speed, performance, and kind of battery results that we're getting, everything seems to be much better here with iOS 12.4. Now on top of that, you have the goodies, the iOS 12.4 new features and changes that we've seen, and those alone are really good reasons to upgrade as well. So as far as my opinion goes, I definitely think all of you guys should update. And if you are interested in updating past iOS 12.4, maybe to iOS 13 public betas, there will be a link in the video description down below where you can go ahead and update to those betas as well. But anyways, guys, again, that was iOS 12.4. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments about the content that you were seeing today, of course, enter those in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. So again, thank you all for watching. Greatly appreciate all of your support. If you want to get more involved with the channel, maybe stay up to date with all the content we release, especially content on iOS 13, definitely get subscribed and also hit the bell button to get updates as soon as that content is released. There's also a link down below where you can hook up with me on Twitter, tweet me. I definitely will respond to you. You can personal message me over there as well with any questions that you may have. We also have a Discord server where you can ask all of the questions that you want about iOS 12, 13, macOS, any questions that you want, including wallpapers and all of that jazz in our Discord server. A link to that is also in the video description down below. So hopefully I'll be seeing you over on Discord, maybe in some upcoming content. But until then, I hope you all enjoy iOS 12.4, and hopefully I'll be seeing you in some upcoming content. Peace.